Hey, how you doing today? It's Sven again. Good to see you. Good to have you back. You'll forgive me, I'm a little bit short-winded. I'm in the middle of my workout, hence the earbuds. So I was in the middle of my workout today, and I work out at home now during COVID. I don't go to the gym, and I won't go to the gym until there's a fucking vaccine. That's just me. Anyway, I was in the middle of my workout and getting a bit lit on the caffeine, and as I work out, I got the music going, and I just think about shit. Keeps my head out of my reps, keeps me from thinking I fucking hate this and I wish it were done. Anyway, I was reflecting on yoga today. My girlfriend has a yoga class here at the house. They meet outside, put out their mats and all that, and a friend of ours is the instructor, and I don't know, they get 6 to 10 people. It's pretty fucking cool for COVID. And I don't go. I'm not into yoga. It's not my thing. I don't like people. I'm just kidding. No, I really am. Anyway, it's just not my thing. But I do have immense respect for yoga. I still remember the first time I ever went. I've been to, I don't know, 5, 6, 8 yoga classes in my life. And my girlfriend's daughter is a master yogi. And she's really great. And people love her. And I've been to a couple of her classes. But I'm just not into yoga. Yoga for me is like ice cream. I like it, but I don't love it. And I know that's heresy to most people. But I'm an Oreos guy. I like cake. I like pie. Not into ice cream as much. Anyway, I was remembering the first time I ever went to a class. It was, I don't know, 15 years ago, whatever. Maybe not 20, but 15 years ago. And my sister-in-law, Amy, invited me to a class. And she was totally into yoga at the time. She still is. And she's really good at it. And she invited me to class. She said, Sven, they're serving like sangria and wine afterwards with like cookies and treats. And I'm like, oh, fuck that. Liquor, sweets. And I know there'll be pretty women there because there are always pretty women at yoga, right? So pretty women, sweets, and liquor. I'm in. So I went, my first yoga class, and it was a fucking Bikram class, right? Heat yoga. Oh, it was hell. It was just fucking hell. I've always had respect for yoga as a physical workout. I really have. I know it. I've seen it, and I just know it. I got a taste of it then. Not just the heat aspect of it, but yoga is fucking hard. Now, when I was in sports, and I was a Division I athlete, NCAA, and I was a good athlete, multiple sports and shit, but I always hated the stretching aspect of it. Fucking hated it. I mean, I was a big guy, and it just wasn't my thing. So you give me fucking an hour and a half of stretching and holding poses, it's like, I'm so fucking out of here. But then you put it under intense heat. Dude, I grew up in fucking Minnesota, right? Worst winters in the US other than Alaska, obviously. Worst winters, coldest, all that shit. And I hate the heat. I don't necessarily love the cold, but I hate the heat. I don't like fucking in the heat. I don't like exercising or playing sports in heat. I don't like sleeping in the heat. I don't like anything in the heat except sitting in the shade with a cocktail, all right? Or being in the pool. So you put me in a fucking yoga class where I have to work that fucking hard and under intense heat. It's like, I fucking hate it. And I had to leave like 2 or 3 times. It was just so fucking suffocating. And the teacher, she got a kick out of me and she gently teased me, and that was fine. I appreciate that in anyone. But I've always respected it. I just didn't enjoy it, right? And I've gone to some other classes since, whether to just go with a friend or support someone or whatever. But it's never been my thing. But in contrast to that, I have immense respect. As I said, I have immense respect for the history of yoga, okay? My undergraduate degree was in world religions. My master's degree was in religious studies, theology, divinity, and all of that. So I am well familiar with the origins of yoga. Pre-Hindu origins, Hindu origins, ties in with from India warriors and conjuring up the spirituality for strength and so forth. And I have immense respect for it on the spiritual side and what it does for people in helping them hear their breathing and helping them connect with their authentic centered self, which is so much of what my work is. So I respect it for that spiritual aspect. Additionally, secondly, I respect it for the physical aspect. It's just fucking hard. It just is. And I've been to some yin classes that were easier, and I really enjoyed those, but I still don't desire to go back. It's a type of workout, it's just not my thing. Some people have CrossFit, some people have Peloton, some people love biking. I like lifting heavy weights, all right? It's just my thing. So I respect it for the physical side as well as the spiritual side, but then I also respect yoga for the communal spirituality side. And I think to some degree, for a lot of people, at least in America, yoga has supplanted what Christianity and church used to provide, and even Judaism and synagogue used to provide, this notion of sharing communal spirituality, coming together we're each on this spiritual path trying to connect with God or self or universe, our own soul, and we're doing it in community, and there's immense value to that, and the sharing and the fellowship that happens before and afterwards. I have profound respect for how yoga is really meeting that need for so many people. I mean this with all sincerity, the spiritual, the physical, and the communal aspect of yoga. But I fucking hate yoga. It's hard fucking work in a way that isn't fun for me. Lifting weights is hard work, but it's fun for me. Well, that's not even fully true. I'm just vain and I like the fruits of it. And so it's a type of physical activity that I've been doing long enough and I can tolerate, all right? I'm really a lazy fuck at the core. Anyway, I was reflecting on yoga today, and I was thinking about how is it that I can simultaneously have so much respect for it, yet really loathe being around very yoga-y people. And granted, like the super syrupy, saccharine, thick blah, yoga people, maybe that's like, I don't know, 20%, 40%, 30%, I don't fucking know. But it's so dripping with like all of it that it fucking annoys the shit out of me. And what's funny is I've had this conversation with some friends of mine, male and female, young and old, and plenty of people love yoga, and again, I respect it madly, but I just don't like being around it. Plenty of people that I know, or some people that I know, reject yoga for the exact same reason. They just don't like it. It has its own special language for so many people, and your light energy has to fuse with your Namaste from the Kundalini, blah, blah. It's like, fuck off. Just do your thing and spare me the fucking foreign language, fucking massagey bullshit, all right? For me, that's just me, but I'm a dick, all right? But as I was thinking about that today, during my workout, I realized, and I've thought about this before, I first thought about this like 10 years ago, but I was thinking about it again today. That is exactly how I felt, and I know my brothers, all five of them, one of them's a girl, but she was more or less a guy, so I say I have five brothers. But we felt that way in the 70s regarding Christian-y people, especially in the 70s. It dripped into the 80s a bit, but mind you, we were preacher's kids. Our dad was a pastor, right? A Lutheran pastor, and they're more level-headed and down-to-earth and not real, like, blah, in your face. But our dad was a pastor. Our mom was a director of education and ended her career teaching at the master's level, at the graduate level. And four of our uncles were clergy. And I mean, so this was our whole life. So we had a high tolerance for it. But there was just this level of Christian-y type folks. It's like, shut the fuck up. It's like, oh my God, do you hear yourself? We're just so dripping with Jesus-y stuff. And I have as much respect for Jesus as anyone. I've founded my life on his ethos of serving humanity. You know, the whole dead for 3 days and come back to life thing is a bit hard to choke down. But the rest of it, it's like my whole life is based on so much of his teachings. And I mean that 100%, even to this day. Even though, you know, I don't like buy into every last fucking thing. And don't necessarily even consider myself Christian, in no small part because of the people. But back to the point. Back then, you know, they were known as Bible bangers or Bible thumpers or fucking holy rollers or, you know, the Christian-y, Jesus-y types. And the people I was around, even though we were in the church and it was a very successful and growing church, they're just, for me personally, I fucking hated it. And a lot of people hated those fucking Christian-y types, the holy rollers, right? And they went out of fashion. They started really going out of fashion in the early 80s, mid 80s, and then it's gone off a cliff. Christianity has very much gone out of fashion in no small part, as I've written about in fucking 5 of my books or however many books, because of the people and the theology. But so where am I going with this? Because the people were so syrupy and so also in your face and ramming it down your throat and always proselytizing, people would separate from that. People would push the Christian-y types away. Oh, do you have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ? Fuck you, just shut the fuck up, all right? Spare me your fucking, not even your product, but just your shtick. And a word began to be associated back in the 70s with the Christian types, the pejorative, and it's still used as a pejorative today, and it's the word kumbaya. Oh, everything's just fucking kumbaya. Are you saying things are kumbaya between us now? Kumbaya means like all calm and perfect and copacetic and hey brother, let's hug, you know. And I'm all for hugging, that's not the point. The point is just that notion of kumbaya began to be associated initially with the Christians and their syrupy, saccharine bullshit, and then eventually it just became a pejorative with distinct Christian roots, but a pejorative for, you know, oh, kumbaya, like huggy, fuck, it's like, fuck you, too syrupy, right? It's fake. And I began to realize that was the same feeling I was having, that the feeling that some of, let's say 40% of the Christians, or whatever percent back in the 70s, gave others and gave me, that fucking syrupy shit that made me want to push them away, is the same feeling I have with some, not even many, but some yoga-y people today. And there's one word, of course, other that we equate with yoga, other than, of course, yoga. The word we equate with yoga is, or many people equate with yoga, is namaste. You know, the thing they say at the end, namaste, right? Spirit in me meets the spirit in you, and fucking they're all kumbaya, right? Namaste. And I realized about 10 whatever years ago, and it hit me again today, man. For me, and I think for many people, or for at least for some people, namaste is the new kumbaya. It's this phrase that sums up, or it's this term that sums up the yoga-y people who are just so fucking kumbaya, and everything's just, oh, let's all have our spirit connect in Vinyasaville, la la la. It's just, I can't even put words to it, other than it comes off as fake. It comes off as fake, this phony, everything is cotton candy and rainbows out my butthole and pink bows and lollipops, you know, and we all need peace, la, la, la. And it comes off as inauthentic. And the reason it comes off as inauthentic is because nobody's actually that way. Nobody who is truly authentic is just all peace and fucking kumbaya shit. That a fully actualized person, a person who is most fully themselves on the outside as they are on the inside, is just as much anger and strength and firmness as they are softness and tenderness and kindness. In fact, in my work, I deal with hyper successful people, literally the top echelons, right? Wall Street C-suites. And I deal with people who are just the opposite. They're all fucking tough, and a lot of them are women. It's not just men. It's all, I gotta put on tough, I'm tough, fuck it, nothing, I'm not weak, and show no softness and all that shit, right? It's bullshit. Just as much as the kumbaya, namaste, oh, let's all be tender and soft, and let's eat our little crackers, and that's just a reference to one guy I knew who was that way. Very namaste, kumbaya, and it fucking annoyed the shit out of me. Until a person has fused the hard and the soft, they're not a fully actualized person. They are running from one aspect of their personality, and it always, always, always dates back to childhood. In every home, there is some emotion that wasn't allowed to be expressed. And very often, with some children, it's you're not allowed to express anger. I don't have time for your anger. In some homes, it's you're not allowed to express softness. Or in some homes, you're not allowed to express sadness. Or in some homes, you're not allowed to express loudness. That was one of my homes, Swedish Americans, right? Gentle, quiet, calm people. I wasn't. But all of those aspects are part of being human. And so to deny one means to cut off one aspect of your personality, what Carl Jung called the shadow side, right? He was a preacher's kid. That's the only reason I reference him. Preacher's kid like myself. And until we allow that side of ourselves up that we've been repressing or suppressing or just pushing down or avoiding or running from, until we allow that up and fuse that in, we're being fake. It's not authentic. And people sense that shit. When you're just being all soft and kumbaya, it's bullshit. There's no room for even righteous anger. There is no room for standing up and saying, no, this matters, or no, you can't do this to me. The underlying message of telling a child, you can't express your anger, or you can't express your sadness. The underlying message is, what you have to say doesn't matter. The underlying message is who you are, your voice doesn't matter. You don't. And so a child will carry that into adulthood, believing their voice doesn't fucking matter, right? And believing that, and so they'll never express their anger. And my job is to reach down their fucking throat and pull out their anger. Not so that they'll live in anger, but so that they'll fuse those aspects of themselves into a full human being. And so someone who's putting on this cloak of everything is namaste, everything's fucking kumbaya, brother, is only expressing part of their personality. My favorite author, Joseph Campbell, used to say, the cave you most fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. That aspect of your personality you're most afraid to express holds the treasure you seek. And the treasure is a fully fused, a fully integrated person. A person who is expressing their full truth in the moment and in their life as a whole. And so for me, Namaste, even though I have mad respect for yoga, I really do, but Namaste has become sort of the new Kumbaya, that it's this fake version of myself, and very often it's very aggressive, it's very forceful, you know, that this is the one true truth, and I have it, and I'm going to tell you all about it, and you really need to do it yourself. So there's almost an aggressiveness to the passive peacefulness, right? Oh, the irony. And so the lesson in this, the task, is to ask myself, have I fully fused all aspects of myself, or am I simply avoiding certain aspect, a certain pain, or a certain anger, or a certain sadness, or a certain toughness, or a certain softness? What things am I avoiding? What aspects of myself, my character, am I refusing to look at or touch because they're too painful? And by painful, not just what they conjure up from the past, but painful because if I express my full truth, I'm terrified of what people will think, and they might push me away. I literally had a client this morning. I have a few clients that I walk with now during COVID, since we can't sit in my office. We sit outside, or I take them online, or I take them by FaceTime, and then some that I walk with. We wear our masks. And this particular gentleman, early 40s, he was never allowed to express anger in his home. And so he's very conflict averse. Yet he's in the middle of some really big shit in his life. And this is common among my clients. And this particular one, he's really struggling with, do I have the courage to stand up for myself? And not just do I have the courage, do I have the ability to stand up for myself? And even deeper than that, do I have the right to stand up for myself? Which seems ludicrous to some people, except when you've been told your whole life that your voice doesn't matter, that you don't matter, that what you care about doesn't matter, when you've been told that your whole life. It's hard to find the belief system that I matter, and what I have to say is okay. It's hard to even find your voice because you've been cowering your whole life. Like this rescue dog that we have. This little dog just cowers, afraid of getting hurt. People hide their voice. They hide themselves when they've been hurt in the past. And this notion that I can stand up and speak, and that my voice matters, and that I matter has been anathema to them. And so it requires a whole destroying of the old belief system and building up a new belief system that says I matter. But you can't do that. You can't say, well, just one aspect of myself matters, but not my whole self. It requires the courage to fuse and to integrate and to bring up all of myself, not just the Namaste Kumbaya. I want to say again, I have mad respect for yoga, just like I have mad respect for Christianity when it's done well. But when the vibe feels inauthentic, and when it's being, sort of rammed down your throat, and it's all this fucking saccharine shit, it sucks. It sucks. And people push that away because they sense the inauthenticity of it. People like authenticity. And people like when it's the earthiness and sort of the spiritual. It's both. And authentic spirituality is both. It's both and. It's not either or. It's not just peace all the time. It's like sometimes fighting a battle. You got to fight the fucking battles. And that's part of fucking life. Anyway, I want to end it today and get back to my fucking workout. I want to end it with this question, the one I asked earlier, and that is, what aspects of your personality are you denying? What are you overabundant in? And how is that an indicator of what you're underabundant in, or lacking, or denying, or running from? Are you fully integrated yet, or are there aspects of yourself that you're still running from? Usually it's pain. Usually it's bullshit you've been taught about yourself. Untruths. And so the challenge is to continue to dig deeper, and to find out why I'm avoiding this. What am I afraid of? And more often than not, we're afraid of what people are going to fucking think if I show my authentic self, if I show my real self. And the simple fact of the matter is, you'll never be happy until you do begin to show your authentic self. So with that being said, I hope you have a kick-ass day, great week, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. SKØL.